Let me take you into some of the nuts and bolts of personal branding now. And so grab your notebook and your pen and your computer, and we're going to walk through some of this stuff. So as I've mentioned, I spent nearly every day of my life thinking about marketing. And people call me for help on marketing. And people generally think that marketing is like the cure-all to all of their problems, right? All right, all the marketers, you know what I'm talking about, okay? And they say, if I just have great marketing, then I will make money. And so this is what they see in their minds. If I have great marketing, I will make more money. If I make more money, I will have greater impact and influence. If I have that, then I can quit my job, and then I can go live on the beach and, make money off the internet, right? And this is great, but here's what ends up happening. All the marketers in the room know this, and there are plenty of great marketers, so if you need marketing help, you need to ask me, who do you recommend? And I'll say, what do you need? And they're all here. Okay? Designers, copywriters, people who build email funnels. If you have no idea what that is, ask me, because Liz, raise your hand. She's right up front. Okay, Liz set up my email funnel. I made money this morning because of what you built. That's crazy. I just logged. Oh, you saw it. Okay, she has access to all my accounts, right? So you're like, he's buying dinner, right? So people think that if I just have great marketing, it'll lead to the promised land. But here's what they're missing. There's a step that precedes marketing, and that's what we're going to walk through in the next 10 minutes. There's a very, very important step that precedes marketing that nobody ever thinks about. And in a room full of influencers, this is super, super important, okay? What precedes marketing is a simple word called movement. What is the movement you want to start? That's what needs to infuse your marketing, which will then lead to the money and the impact and all of that stuff that you are always thinking about, right? So I would dare say that Martin Luther King Jr., if we could talk to him today, hey, do you view yourself as a great marketer? He would say, absolutely not. I wanted to start a movement. If we talk to Jesus or Buddha or Gandhi or any other figure like this, we would never view them as great marketers. Do they have great marketing? Yes. But what drove everything? It was a movement. They literally wanted to start a movement in society. Now you might think, Mike, this is really like heady stuff. Listen, I just want to become a speaker. Here's the truth. That's not enough. It's not compelling. You've got to say something. You've got to have something burning in your heart that people are drawn to, right? And so I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to invite you, and we're going to walk through this morning to really get into the grit of that. This is a safe place. You don't have to have it all figured out. This is the lab. All right, it's going to get messy. All right, this is the lab. So here's the thing. The first step to exerting influence is to set a clear and compelling goal. I stayed up last night just working through this presentation. I was thinking about some of the things that you guys shared last night. Here's what I heard in the room as you were introducing one another. Okay, clear and compelling goal. This is what we're going to zero in on today. I heard some people say this. We improve customer service in the hospitality industry. Now, plain as day. Okay, I get it, right? This is pretty clear, right? It's clear. Here's what's missing. It's not compelling. Let me give you another example. As trenchant as this topic is, we rescue kids from sex trafficking. That statement causes a little bit more emotion and it elicits a reaction. Why? Because you see the word sex trafficking, right? But it's not really a compelling statement. A third one. All the corporate people just raise your hand and say, blah. Okay, no, you don't have to raise your hand. Oh, we need to reduce problems and raise the quality of HR to new heights as soon as we can. This is corporate speak. Jennifer's rolling her eyes because she's, she talks to these kind of leaders all the time. And here's what happens in corporate or a nonprofit or church, any kind of organization. Some leader comes up to the stage, or they hold some big function and say, you know what, we need to reduce problems and raise the quality of HR to new heights as soon as we can. And it is so boring, right? Or it's so vague, and it makes everyone want to channel their inner Justin Bieber and say, like, what do you mean? Oh, what do you mean? Got to make up your mind. What do you mean? Because it's not clear. So let me give you an example of actually someone who is an influencer and through a clear and compelling statement actually affected change. And then we're going to write our own clear and compelling goal statement. This is Dr. Don Bertwick. The medical professionals in the room may have heard of him. He was the former CEO of a small organization called the Institute for Healthcare Improvement. And you may not know this, but at the time, back in 2004 or so, the sixth leading cause of death in the United States, the sixth leading cause of death in the United States was medical malpractice. Jennifer, yes? She's nodding her head, right? I mean, it was like cancer, car accidents, whatever it is, that we're in the top 5, and the number 6 is, oh, well, we're trying to help these people, but then we end up killing them by mistake. And people every day, they had estimated every day, it was like the healthcare professionals were, through malpractice, killing an entire busload of people every single day. This is a problem. So this guy decided to do something about it, but the way he did it was through a clear and compelling statement. And he stood up one December afternoon in front of thousands of healthcare professionals, and this guy walked up to the stage and he said this, you know, I think we should save 100,000 lives this year. And I think we should do that by June 14th, 2006, like by 9 a.m. And what came out of this was called the 100K Lives campaign. And I want you to read this. This is the marketer in me now talking. Look at this. Look at this. Some is not a number. Soon is not a time. And I'm going to compare. Here's what people think resonates with people, their teams, or their audience, or their podcast audience. Or, we will reduce preventable harm in hospitals. Yawn. But look at the second one. We will save 100,000 lives from medical mistakes by June 14th, 2006. Pregnant pause by 9 a.m. I mean, do you guys see the difference in this? So this is clear, but this is clear and compelling. And what this did is it launched a movement. Long story short, they were successful. They saved way more than 100,000 lives. Why? Because this was can't you feel the difference, right? You can feel the difference. So the first step to exerting influence is to set a clear and compelling goal. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to answer 3 questions. I'm going to walk you through all of them, and then you're going to write a little bit. And if we need to turn on a little bit background music, you can do that. But we're going to dive into this. But do you guys see where we're going? I'm trying to pull out the emotion, the stuff that's really inside of you. The stuff that makes you take the sadistic selfies and like, this is not what I want to do with my life. I want to do more. I want to do something different. Question number 1, what pisses you off? I'm using that language on purpose. And Mike, what do you mean? In what context? Just everything. Just vent. Okay, what pisses you off? I'm going to tell you all the questions before you start, and I'm going to clarify them. The second question is, what breaks your heart? And the third question is, what is the big problem you're trying to solve? So let me clarify each of these questions, and then we're going to spend a few minutes just thinking through all this. Let me circle back to the first question. What pisses you off? This is the injustice. And I picked that word on purpose. This is the injustice you see in the world. Now, for those of you who are in the nonprofit space, it's easy maybe for you to think this through. But for those of you who are in business, you're like, wait, what? I've never used that word before, injustice. Well, let me give you an example. I think it's an injustice that really smart and capable people are wasting away their lives in a cubicle somewhere. Amen. All right, there we go, right? I think that I think it's an injustice that so many of my friends who are so smart and so talented just never get a chance to meet my other friends who are just really smart and talented and strategic and wise and influential. So I'm like, I'm going to do something about it. What breaks your heart? What breaks my heart? This is the compassion element. This is, I feel bad for that Mike Kim that I showed you through those photos. Like, that's really sad. Like, I'm like, wow, I spent years doing that. I wish I could go back in time and say, like, dude, it's okay. Just pet the bunny. It's going to be all right. But like, that's really sad. And so here's what happens when I see folks that are just like not living their life at their fullest. They're a shell of themselves. I actually was driving here with Jody and Jason. They're staying at my house this morning. We drove past a bus stop on our way here. And I saw like these people, like 5 people at the bus stop, and they're just standing there. I'm like, that is so sad. And it's not they're pathetic. You understand what I mean? It's a genuine compassion. I'm like, I bet those are really talented people. I bet there's something inside of them that the world needs. They just don't know how to get out of it. So what breaks your heart is the compassion, okay? And what's the big problem you're trying to solve? This is influence and impact. This is how we do it.